Jeannie Jammer here, and today we will be working on a more simple kind of cat-like plushie for beginner sewers or just a simple project if you want it to be. It's not going to be the best looking thing ever, but the project is more for simplicity, and I didn't actually do measurements on any of this. And as you can see with this fabric right here, this is what the size of this color was originally. And I just took the pieces, cut them, and trimmed them down until they were what I felt like I wanted and to work with that. But this is what it was originally was, size-wise, for the color, if you want a bit of a comparison on that. And we've got our main body and our ears, and there's two pieces. So it's not just one piece here, it's the two, so you can make the both sides. And we have our tail, and I know it looks a little weird right now, but it will look a little better later, and it's made this kind of way so that your plush will actually be able to kind of stand up, even though it won't have the base of a plush that would usually stand up. And we've got our two eyes and our nose. And of course you could technically sew on some whiskers or something if you wanted, but we're doing this to be a more simplistic design. And, well, like I said, it's really up to you. If you do hear any weird noises in the background, I live with two cats, and they don't exactly like to be very quiet for me while I am trying to record things, so most likely if you hear any noises, that is from them. The other thing is, these are not likely the colors you're actually seeing right now, as I did not realize how terrible my phone camera was at capturing the correct colors, because at least what I'm seeing on the screen right now does not look like what I'm seeing in real life, because this is more of like a key lime green than what I'm seeing on the camera. So that's a little disappointing, but live and you learn. I'll have to see if I can go under using a video camera later on, but you know. And I have a thread that's similar to this color, as well as white. I would have preferred to use like a clear thread. It's a lot easier to do that, so you don't have to worry about matching. But I either have used up all of mine, or I just have plain lost it somewhere. Honestly, either are highly possible. So, yeah. Life. But you gotta keep in mind when you do cut these, this is not going to be the finished shape, because you're gonna at least have a little bit, like right here at least, that will be out from the sewing you do to turn it inside out to make it look better. But for now, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to sew on the eyes and the nose, keeping in mind that we will lose some space. And it may look a little funny because, like I said, I don't do measurements with this design, so it kind of turns out however it does. And we'll just see how it goes. And this is actually a bit stiffer of a felt than I usually use, but this is what I had on hand for this project, so we'll just kind of, like I said, have to see how it goes. If I could get my thread and needle off the side thing over here, it would be relatively helpful now, wouldn't it? Now, let me try and get a little bit of a visual of where I might want these. Now, these eyes may be a little bigger than I probably should have made them, but again, trial and error is just how you go. Oh, your nose is running away with me. Actually, that's not too terrible. Alright, we'll go with something like that. Maybe put the eye down just a little more. Alright, and we'll start with that. And of course you start with your needle on the other side because you don't want it to see that. And you want to give it a little bit of space here. So if you do it too close to the edge of your fabric, it's just not going to go well. We don't have to do anything huge to it. Just doing a basic little sewing in place around the edges of it. And you can go back over it. Are you kidding me? My thread is already twisted. Yeah, that's one of those things. You need to be careful how much thread you actually decide to use, because if you're like me, you're going to get your thread all knotted and twisted, and I'm probably going to cut that part out of this video, but maybe not. So if you're hearing it, I have failures. This is probably moved from where it was originally. If you want, you could pin it, but honestly, most of this project is just freehand. But that's completely fine, because this is meant to be a simplistic project that you can just do without stressing too much. And you can do it with finer in between stitches. You don't have to take them as very long stitches, or you can take them as semi-long stitches. Now, don't be like ridiculous and try and make an inch long stitch or whatever, because that's just gonna kill it. But you know, like I said, it's up to you how you do it exactly. Now, obviously, this is something you would want to either hand wash or spray, not throw into a actual laundry machine. That would not be a good idea. It would utterly destroy it. At least most likely. I'm not willing to completely go and test that theory or idea out, so I suppose if you want to, you can find it out, but yeah, make sure it's your project stuff and your washer. Yeah. Do it, or if you do. I think I'm gonna probably cut that part out. Oh well. Oh, you've got to forgive me. The good news is that this will all be on the inside of it. So, if you screw up like I am, woohoo, you won't really have being seen. Got some pink fluff stuck in there. It's not appreciated. You make that eye look weird. Oh, well, I'll probably come through. I'm gonna pause this for now and I'll come back to it. Alright, and I've come back after finishing sewing on both eyes and the nose. And I'm going to get close to the camera without killing anybody. I have left the eyes with a bit of a difference. This has it where I've gone back in between each stitch and done another one, so it's like almost a full circle, or oval in this case, on this left eye. This right eye, though, I only did one round, so it doesn't show as much, but I may have also done this a little looser than the left one, but it's up to you on which you think looks better and what you think will actually stay on. And the nose, I did the double because there wasn't a lot of stitching on it, and I just wanted to make sure it actually stayed on there. Now, it is a little bit messy on this side, as you can see, but since this will be on the inside, it really doesn't matter that much. And I actually used the same bit of thread for both eyes and the nose, which is why they're connected like this. But of course, seeing it like this will actually help you a little bit. Make sure you have it the right direction when you're sewing and you turn it back inside out. Because that honestly could be the most troublesome thing, is forgetting what is what direction. Which can happen. It can. But that is the basics on this part. Now, let me put these back together for now. And let's move on to these ears. Now, as I showed before, I try to cut these pieces at the same time, like fold the fabric over and cut both sides of the ear so that they're easy enough to have like this. I'm going to leave the bottom open for the moment because I'm going to probably put a little bit of stuffing in it. But I'm just going to stitch up the sides and then leave a little bit of room at the bottom, probably unstitched, just so that it's easily maneuverable. And just remembering to leave that little bit of space. And I don't know technically if you could have seen the stitching easily enough earlier, but hopefully you have a basic bit of how to sew at this point to be able to do this. I'm going to actually do this part off camera, and I will also stitch up the part of the tail while I'm at it, and we will go from there after that. So I will be back in a little. Alright, So I sewed the ears and I turned them inside out, but I actually decided to put a little bit of stuffing in them and then sew them off around where I'm going to have them sewn inside of the head. So it'll be kind of more like that. That's what you're going to see versus what's actually there. This one may be a little understuffed in comparison to this one, but like I said, I don't do measurements or anything on this. And here's our tail looking better. It is shorter than it was, but some of the original end of it is actually on the inside of it, and it looks better as a cattail, and it will be sewn onto the back. I'm not sure. I may actually sew it like this, depending, but it's supposed to kind of be what will help your cat actually stand up. So we'll see how the rest of the body looks. It may sound weird and it may end up looking weird, but I will sew this on last, actually, after the rest of it is done. And as long as you're careful, it won't look too terrible afterwards. But I'm going to end up sewing these ears in here. Maybe not that exact direction, I'm not exactly sure yet. But I will sew those in there. And I will get like the sides and stuff set up. I will do the inside out part for that. I'm going to turn it, put the metal parts inside out, and I'm going to start around here and here on these sides, and I'm going to sew that part, and then I'm going to turn it back right side out so that I can, before I actually sew these parts, to see what the ears will look like with that. And then I'll go from there, and I'll probably do a little bit of that inner bit like that, and then sew it to it, which it'll sound weird, but I'll probably end up stopping the sewing at the top of the head because the way I've done the ears like this, it'll be really confusing to try to do it the other way, at least in my opinion. So we'll just have to see how that goes, and I will get back to you once I have either at least gotten to this part or maybe actually finished with that, and I'll show you what it looks like before I sew on the tail and then afterwards. So we'll see how it works. And I will definitely say at this point that it is better to use a soft felt, because this stuff did not want to be friendly, and I actually had to go to our kitchen drawer and get out a reusable chopstick to push the fabric inside out without risking like pulling it apart or anything, because it is still felt. You can see the stitches, which isn't the happiest thing, but that's why you either get clear or matching thread. And again, this is just a relatively quick, cute, simple project. So I'm going to do what I said I would, and then I'll come back to y'all later. Alright, so I did actually end up sewing the tail on after all, and we ended up with a bit of a sideways ear, but honestly that's actually kind of cute in a quirky way anyway. I got our tail, and it still looks a little funny, but as you can see, your plush stands. And again, I said this was a beginner project. It's nothing seriously professional or anything like that. So, hopefully you weren't expecting perfection. There's just your little cute little critter. And definitely go for a less stiff felt, even a softer felt, because honestly it's a lot more forgiving and it's a lot easier to actually turn the stuff inside out and everything, and with it being this stiff, it was a lot less forgiving with the shape of the creature, so. But that's up to you. This is just a basics video, and hopefully it goes well for you, and you had fun with it. We'll go into some other critters later, probably go into some other critters later on, but we'll just see what happens. And I guess that's basically all you need to know for now. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you have a good one. Bye!